Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today in this episode what I think we'll do is we'll start to add some of the elements of our front section here for our nostrils, our grills, our lights, maybe even add in some information for the rear lights as well. I think what I'd also like to do is add some trim to the inside of the window here, just to kind of show the seal and the differentiation between the two. We're also going to quickly have a go at smoothing this off too, because now that the car is nice and smooth we don't want these jaggy edges all around here. So I think first I'm just going to duplicate special. That should work quite nicely for me right off the bat. What I'm going to need to do here is a couple of things. Firstly, we added in some additional geometry, so now there's some little gaps here, so I'm just going to add just some edge loops in there just to match what we added before. That's going to allow me to pull this up into position here, and I think we did it as well back here, so we'll grab another edge loop just there, and again I'll pull that up and out the way like that. Now all we're going to really need to do is quickly add some edge loops here, so we're going to want to go down either side on the front, and then we'll want to go around here too. I think we might have a rear interior edge that we can drop one on as well. And then I think the only thing we're going to need to consider is down here. We're going to need this to stay as a point, so we'll drop a couple of edges inside there. And if we hit 3 now, we can smooth that off. And that's going to maintain that curve quite nice around there, because we did extrude it straight from the actual point. So that's looking good. And we'll just quickly, I think we can duplicate the special of that too. Swap that over to that side as well. Okay, actually looks like that's not quite at the center. So I'm just going to hold D and X and just make sure that's snapped exactly to the middle there. Do that again. That's better. Okay. Now there's one thing I did notice, which we could look at on the front bumper as well, is because we're going to be going around the light here, this isn't too flush right now. We're probably going to want that to be a little bit more flush, so what we could do is we could run an edge all the way around the front here, to kind of go all the way around and mirror that. I'm not going to do that just yet, because I quite like how this isn't an especially sharp edge. It's kind of got a little bit of shape to it. So if we put the lights in and they're not looking too good around there, then we can add that in later. So far the whole car is looking pretty decent here. So what we'll do is we are going to want to start now to think about all the extra areas inside. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab all of the edges to this nostril, for example. If we start with the vents here, I'm just going to hit Ctrl E, and then I'm just going to scale in only ever so slightly, like so. And then I'm going to select it all here, and we are going to go to Edit Mesh and Extract. So we'll extract those faces off. You can see that's got rid of our bumper on this side, but that's fine. That's just because we've extracted an element of this. Now we can also see the problem that we have is that some of our faces is flipped. So we're going to select all of the black faces here, going all the way around, and we are going to go to Mesh Display, and we are going to reverse the normals on there. So we should have now all of the grey faces facing forward, which we do. Now, what is going to be the benefit of this for us is that when we smooth this off, we can see that that is instantly sitting how we want it to, which is perfect. Now, when we're going to create all of these edges here, we're going to be doing the same process over again. We're going to be basically either extruding what's already there, extracting, and then reworking with, or alternatively, we're going to be creating a new plane, and then we're going to have that match to all of the individual points going around. So basically, for all of these vents, we're going to have the same process. So we're just going to do this first one here, and then I'll speed up for the rest. Inside here, we're going to use this extrusion. If we just take this back down to the one, we're going to use this extrusion here in order to build upon what we have. So if we select all of these edges here, for example, it looks like on the model we're going to want to pull out, and we can extrude again, maybe to bring those in. Don't know if we have the actual grill section inside here. We do, so we can see how large we want this to be. Don't know if I agree with that 100%. It's probably more like, on my reference images, more like this all the way around. So we'll maybe take that down to something just like that. With this one here, we'll maybe take that in a little bit more. Okay. We can grab these here and we'll just pull these out again ever so slightly. Now we'll hit Ctrl E on this, and then we're just going to pull it in. Like so. And I think one thing we'll do to this is we'll select all these edges here, and then we can bevel them. I think 0.5 looks good, but we'll maybe increase the segments there to 2 instead. Now just adding that depth to that shouldn't have affected the overall shape, so we can see that that's going to sit in there really nicely, and that's going to hold on to our vent pieces. We've got a chrome section in the middle. So for all of these subsequent pieces here, we're going to want to do the same thing. We're going to want to run around each of these edges. Some will be fine to extrude up, just like we have with the other elements, which we're not going to be able to do that with. We're simply going to want to create a new plane, and for this plane here, we'll pull it into the center, and we'll take away all of the extra subdivisions inside. So we've just got the one, and then we're just going to want to rotate it towards us, or in this case actually maybe we won't want to rotate it at all, because we are going to drop this one inside here. And essentially what we're going to want to do is, if we select the two and I select the selection, we are going to want to drag this edge over here to snap to each of these vertices, and then we are going to drag our vertices to match and then just pull them away ever so slightly. In this example here, I think what we'll actually want to do is we're going to snap them to it and then just pull it up ever so slightly, and then do the same here, and then pull it up ever so slightly. And we're going to want to extrude this edge here. So grab this edge, we're going to want to extrude this out, and essentially we're going to want to extrude this along to match all of the different bits that we have inside here. And then this is where our mesh, our honeycomb mesh, is going to actually add to, because a lot of these elements, like our mesh section in the middle here, our vent sections down here, and the lights, is the actual mesh doesn't attach to the body panels, it attaches to kind of like a trim lining. So we create the lining first, and then we attach the mesh into that area, just to make it a little bit more realistic. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is I'm going to aim to get the majority of the sections done on the front and the rear, and then I'll speed them up, maybe just something like ×2, so it should be easy enough to follow. And then in the next episode we'll probably think about populating the actual light elements in the front and the back as well. Okay guys, cool.